What is up, guys? This is your boy Dashy. We are back again with another episode of Track Guides, and today we are going to cover everybody's favorite track within the first couple months, Sewer Speedway. I hope you guys enjoyed your holiday break, and as per usual, if there's anything that I talk about during this video that has you scratching your head, feel free to go back to the first episode of this series with Crash Code, because at the beginning of that I actually talk about all the different tech that I'll be mentioning throughout this series. So let's get started. So starting off with the time trial, I did actually mention this, but I'm going to be using my personal best time rather than a time that I specifically recorded for this series. So we start off and we do 2 or 3 mini turbos and then jump off with a ramp. Doesn't entirely matter. Now I'm going to pause briefly here and I'm going to mention something that's not super important for most people, but it is something worth mentioning. So in this game there are at least 2 forms of Sacred Fire, and it's kind of hard to ever tell the difference between them visually at the very least. The only way you can ever really tell the difference between them is simply seeing the speeds side by side, unless you turn on the Super Turbo Pads cheat, in which case you'll also be able to tell, because if the pad doesn't give you Blue Fire and instead just gives you Sacred Fire, it's because it's a weaker Sacred Fire ramp. Now the weak Sacred Fire is only very slightly slower than the regular Sacred Fire, so it's not super noticeable, but it is obviously slightly slower. So if you are looking to shave off a couple small milliseconds, then it is kind of a big deal. So this first pad right here on Sewer Speedway gives you weak Sacred Fire. Keep that in mind. We're moving forward from here. From here, don't follow the Oxide Ghost and instead just follow the regular path to the left. As we're doing that, we're going to get up to this first shortcut here. We're actually going to pause right here and we're going to talk a little bit about the shortcut. Now to start things off, I'm probably going to say something that's going to kind of ruffle some feathers. This shortcut was never broken. It was hard though. It was very unforgiving to make this shortcut, but there was always a couple specific spots that you could jump from that would always get you up the shortcut, and it was not random or anything like that. It would always work. But eventually they did end up patching this course and made this jump basically scripted. So it's easier to make, and it'll definitely feel, well, scripted when you make it. Now, interestingly enough though, there's now basically 2 forms of taking this shortcut, and we basically just call it the fast way or the slow way. The slow shortcut is basically where you're going to see your cart propel upwards more than it goes forwards, and in the end of it, you'll end up landing directly on the boost pad. The fast way is where you see your cart basically go more forwards than upwards. You'll just barely clear the ledge of the shortcut. However, you're going to fly over the boost pad. The fast way saves about 0.3 seconds over the slow way. However, on lap 1, the slow way isn't even bad, and I think honestly it's supposedly better, but it ends up basically evening out in my opinion. Because remember, going back to that first ramp that we took, that only gives you weak Sacred Fire, and landing on the boost pad here will give you the regular. So it does end up evening out if you get it on lap 1. The difference between these two in terms of actually making them happen is kind of hard to describe. It's just really where you jump from and the angle that you take. The fast way does have a consistent way to do it, so I would just say watch this video and really kind of scrutinize where I'm jumping from and at the angle to see the fast shortcut. And before we move on from here, I do actually want to mention one quick thing. Obviously, after this short little tunnel, you're going to jump off to the right. You don't take the full quote-unquote shortcut where you go all the way on the outside with the 3 boost pads. You're just going to jump off this bridge right to the right down into the full pipe. So we jump down, and I'm going to pause again because we do have something that's basically the make or break of this entire course. There's 2 barrels on this course. They both have the same cycle. And by this I mean I'm not really sure if they move at the same, like, or if one's at the very top right, then that means the other one is at the top right at the exact same time, but they do move at the same pace. So that means if one is at the top right at this given moment, then that means no matter what, the other one is going to be in the same spot that it would always be, and they don't get out of sync. So what does this mean for you? Well, basically here's what it means. So like in this instance, as I passed that barrel, it is basically right in the middle from the right side going left. Now that means I'm going to take note of that, and as I get to the second barrel, I'm going to end up seeing that the barrel is all the way on the left, basically at the very apex of that. Now that means, for me, if I follow the exact same pace every single lap, that if the barrel is in the middle traveling from right to left, that means the second barrel is going to be at the apex of the left. Now this basically just tells me personally, again, it's going to be a little bit different for everybody since, you know, paces are a thing. This basically tells me that the second barrel is always going to be a little bit less than half of a cycle ahead of the first barrel for me. I'm going to use this moving forward from that first set of barrels. Now starting back from here, I'm going to jump up to the right, and then I'm going to basically enter this full pipe, and I'm going to hug this wall to the right, knowing that this barrel is going to be on the left. And if you jump from the right spot, you actually aren't going to bonk off the ceiling. You're going to see me do that throughout this whole section. Really, the only thing I can tell you there is just that's about where the top of the invisible wall is, so if you go any higher than that, you bonk. So starting lap 2, we're now going to basically repeat the process. We're gonna basically follow the same exact route. We're gonna jump up to this shortcut and do the fast way if we can. We're going to see that the barrel is on the left side for me, and we're going to jump up, and it's going to basically be just coming up to the right side for me. So again, we're hitting this full pipe area. If we jump from the spots, basically we can get a nice little hang time turbo, so that helps as well in keeping our reserves up. Again, we're basically just adding in little mini turbos here and there to try to keep our reserves going. So starting lap 3. Now again, as we exit this shortcut, we're going to take a look for the barrel position, and then I do want to note that as you exit this full pipe, if you basically do 2 little jumps up to the right, you're never going to bonk off of that ramp. I do want to say that mostly because I have an issue where most of the time I will bonk on that little ramp right there, right after the tube, if I try to cut that corner too close. So word to the wise, if you just kind of spam jump up that ramp, you'll be safe. So basically from there, that's the end of the time trial. This is my personal best. You can take a lot of these corners a lot safer. If you do want to, you can actually go kind of wide on the full pipe area, so you can actually read the barrel cycle. If you don't want to try to make guesswork out of it, you can just take it the safe way and then react from there. But again, those cycles are consistent, so I would definitely suggest trying to learn them and try to get used to the pacing that you have and where the barrels are in comparison to your pace. Also, this section is here if you decide for whatever reason that you cannot get that shortcut to work consistently at all. You can actually beat the Oxide Ghost without taking the shortcut at all. It's a little bit challenging, but it's definitely doable. Again, we're basically going to follow the same ideas, but instead we're just going to skip the shortcut and jump up to the right and cut that corner as close as possible. You'll see Oxide himself will actually jump down from the shortcut ahead of you, but you can still catch up to him pretty easily. But again, we're just going to keep note of where the barrels are, and then we're also just gonna, cut our lines as close as possible, add in mini turbos where we need to, and hold fire. The end. That's it. I'll just let this time trial play out so you can see it for yourself, but again, it is definitely doable to beat the Oxide Ghost without the shortcut. So that concludes the section on the time trial. Next, we're going to talk about ring rally. Alright, so ring rally. I'm going to talk through the rings during this first lap. So basically we're going to have some rings right off to the left at the start of this, and then we're going to go to the right, and then jump off to the right as well and jump down. Then right after this tube, we're going to go straight to the left, up to the top, then take the shortcut, and then jump off to the right. Then after that, these rings are on the right side, and then they're on the left side, and then you have to go up to this ramp and then jump off into the full pipe area where you go left, right, left, left, basically to follow the rings. And then right in the split, there is another one, like right after that split. Alright, so that's lap 1, now let's talk. Okay, so this section is going to be kind of negative. I know, sorry, but this needs to be said. I don't know who made this ring rally. I don't know who decided the positions of these rings. Whoever you are, you need to question yourself. Why? You're going to see in this series as we go through more of the ring rally tracks that if something has an obstacle, they make sure to put the rings not literally in the path of the obstacle, because they're cycle based. It makes no sense why you would want it to be, oh hey, there's a barrel here, but you need to go to the left here. So if the barrel just so happens to be on the left, you have to just skip that ring. I don't know who decided that was how it should be done. It makes zero sense to me. Furthermore, as we get to the end of the lap and we have the left-right split, who decided to put the ring at the center of the split after the pillar? If you don't hit the right line, you're basically never going to hit that ring once the rings start to shrink a little bit. Next, at the start of this lap, who decided to put the rings on the left-hand side of that ramp? If you jump from that ramp, not only do you fly over the rings, but you also bonk into the pipe. Again, I don't like being super negative, but genuinely, who decided this was a good idea? Like, those placements just honestly don't make sense from a design standpoint, and it really honestly does bother me. I haven't played every single ring rally, but I would say I've played well over half of them, probably about 70% of the different ring rallies, and this is by far the worst. This is by far, like, who designed this and why did you do it and who hurt you? Now, another thing to note, obviously, as is ring rally, as you go further throughout these, you're going to get faster and faster. The first set of rings off that first ramp, after about lap 7, you're never going to hit that second ring unless you like time your jump perfectly so that you're jumping straight over the ramp, because you'll just go flat out over that second ring even if you just try to ride over the ramp. It does not matter. Basically what you're going to end up seeing as you hit lap 8 is you don't jump at all. Like, basically every single ramp in this whole track, you don't jump anymore except for the shortcut. That's it. Because if you jump, you go over the rings. All I really can say, if you're interested in, getting higher scores on this track or whatever, is just have the mental fortitude. I mean, I really can't say much. Take advantage of the fact that, again, you don't need to mini turbo as much in ring rally because the rings themselves give reserves. So just take note of that, and as you get into the higher laps, don't jump basically at all. Don't slide boost. Don't just drive and do some U-turns, because other than that, you're gonna miss like half the rings, and it's not gonna be a good time basically. But we're getting to the end of the ring rally. I'm just going to stop ranting about this one altogether, but I just want to say, seriously, who designed this? Why? It doesn't make sense. You bonk the roof of this level like constantly as you're playing it. So I really can't fathom who decided this route was a better idea than anything else. And now to move on to the last portion of this episode, where we talk a little bit about the track online or in a single race, basically. So honestly, I do like this track online. Just want to say that right off the bat. So we're going to start the race, and our first set of boxes is right at this split. So from there, if you jump off onto the left tube, again, we're going to have a Wumpa crate, and then we're going to go up to the shortcut as we normally would, and jump down again as we normally would. In the full pipe section, right in the center, there's another Wumpa crate. Our next set of boxes that we're going to see there is right there after that full pipe, and then there's another one in this second full pipe section. That is basically all the boxes that you're going to end up seeing if you take the normal routing. So, lap 2. So here's why I like this track, honestly, online. There's, again, similar to Mystery Caves, it feels like there's a lot less item bombardment because there's just much less item boxes that the majority of people are going to run into if they take like the normal routing. If you go all the way on the long side of this shortcut, there is another set of item boxes and another set of Wumpa crates. If that is something that interests you, I would not really suggest it though. But going back to why I like this track, similar to Mystery Caves, it does feel like there is a nice little gap between the start of the track and the first set of items. So it does give you a opportunity to kind of break away, or at least a little bit, or it solidifies the differences of positions a little bit in that first corner, as opposed to other tracks where it's really just a gamble of whether you're being registered as last place or first place on this first set of boxes, like Papu's Pyramid or whatever, where it's straight off the starting line. It's definitely in my top half of tracks at the very least, because it seems a lot more balanced when it comes to items, but it still has a little bit of chaos because you get to see people trying to dodge the barrels. So it's not just a runner track where if somebody gets a nice item right off the bat and can run away, they're literally gonna run away with it. There's definitely opportunities for somebody to make a mistake and for you to catch up. So that's going to be the end of the video. Next episode is going to be on Ruse Tubes, and I will see you guys then.